Before we start today's video, I'd like to say a few words of appreciation and thanks. This video is a huge milestone for me. It's not only the 40th video I've posted, tomorrow is the 1-year anniversary of my YouTube channel. And Mrs. Tinker's birthday is today also, so happy birthday, Mrs. Tinkerer. As of this recording, I have 105 subscribers, and every week I gain a few more. In the YouTube world, that's really small potatoes, but to me that's really huge. You see, 1 year ago, I was just wanting to make tie clips out of tie pins. So I got on YouTube and looked for videos, and I couldn't find any on there. So I decided I'll just make one of my own and put it on there in case somebody else wants to do the same thing. Well, I got the bug. In that first week, I shot and posted 4 videos on YouTube. Well, I've since learned to pace myself, but, I still enjoy doing it. And by the way, that tie clip video has really taken off in my world. It's actually accounts for 1/5 of the total views on my channel. So there's other people that enjoy it too, apparently. Today's video not only kicks off year number 2, but it also marks the beginning of a long-term project that's going to appear from time to time throughout the year. This project was 2 years in the making, and I'm finally getting to start it, and I'm so excited, and I'm so excited to take you along on the journey with me. So once again, thank you for all being so supportive of me and my channel, and I can't wait for you guys to see the projects I've got coming up this year, including this one. So let's get started. There's a group of people that take kids' Power Wheels and they convert them so that adults can ride them and go really fast. I've always wanted to build one that looked like my truck. Let's get started. For the chassis, I'm just using an old lawnmower frame. It gives me the steering linkage already made, and it gives me a platform to start my build on. I didn't get any video of me breaking it down, but you kind of get the idea. Here it is, all broke down and rolling chassis. You can see it matches up fairly well to the little Power Wheels. But we're going to alter this Power Wheels. My truck is 4 doors. This Power Wheels is 2 doors. It's also an F150 and mine's an F250, so we're going to stretch it. But first we got to take off some of the pieces that we don't need. Remember, all we need is the body. We don't need any of the other stuff. I'm taking out the seats here. And this skid plate has to come off as well. We'll replace this with actual steel eventually. These plastic wheels are no good. They'll never hold my girth. These are just held on with a cotter key. This little truck comes apart in sections, much like a real vehicle does. This axle's not needed anymore, nor are these drive motors. We're going to replace these 12-volt kid motors with a 48-volt adult motor. The console and shifter can go. Along with all the wiring. This little steering wheel looks like my steering wheel, but unfortunately, it won't work for us. We'll pull the steering column straight out of the bottom. Now this steering linkage has got to go. We don't need plastic. Remember, we've got it built into our lawnmower chassis. Here I'm undoing some screws that hold on the windshield and also the front grille area. And the hood comes off. Now the remaining screws for the windshield. There's 2 hidden screws up here. Now the dashboard and the whole windshield comes off as one piece. These mirrors come off next. And now we cut the electrical cords holding the windshield on. This is the bottom side of the throttle pedal. We're not going to use this, we've got our own throttle pedal. Plus it's in the wrong location. Now it's time to start trimming away parts of the plastic body. We can't have the tub anymore on this because we need it to set down on our chassis. Eventually we'll rebuild all this in steel to some extent. Any excess plastic on the bottom we've got to cut off. That includes the floorboard area. Now I'm carefully popping off the door trim. We'll reuse this. Now it's time to cut the body and stretch it. Just like a limousine, we're going to add 12 inches to the overall length. I'm using a razor knife instead of a saw because it's going to make a lot cleaner cut, and this needs to be a finished edge when I'm done. She's cut. Oh yeah. Now I'm pre-drilling some holes in the top of the doors. This is an oak spine. I'm sticking it in here and I'm going to screw it down through the top of the doors. This is what's going to connect our 2 halves back together. This is what it looks like connected together, but now we need to fill in the gaps. To do that, we're also going to use wood. Using a piece of spruce, I've cut out a notch to fit over our spine. Now when I butt it up to the back half of the truck, I just trace the profile of the inside of the truck. Now we cut that out carefully on the bandsaw. This will become our template. You can see when we slip it under here, if it's right inside of the plastic body. This is what we're going to use to make the core of the extension. We'll skin it later. So now it's time to make 38 more of these. Here's the stack of blanks. With my stacked dado head cutter in the table saw, we're making the groove in one pass. Now I've put together this jig on the workbench, and this holds a blank so that we can trace our template onto it. Now we're drilling a couple holes for later reference. And we take it over to the bandsaw and cut it out. But we're not cutting it on the line, we're cutting it outside the line and leaving the line because we're going to make it exact here in a minute. But first we've got to cut all of these out. With the bandsaw, we got the majority of wood off of all the blanks, but we're going to get it exact now. I've altered our jig so that we can screw on a template on top of one of our blanks. This is a patterning bit. It has a bearing that's going to follow our template exactly and cut each blank that's below it exactly like the template. Unscrewing the template off the top, we can see that it's exact. Now 37 more times. And then using a temporary spine to hold them straight, I'm gluing them up into 2 sections of 19 each. We'll clamp these and let them dry overnight. Now that they're dry, we take our actual spine and we line it up and tap it into the top where it goes. And we're going to pre-drill from the inside and then screw some short drywall screws in, and this will hold the panel onto the spine. Now we need to reinsert the spine into our door. Now to insert the back half of the truck. And then towards the bottom, we need to put a few more screws to make sure the plastic is held tight. These will be covered up with trim later, so you won't see them. Well, here's where we're stopping for this video. You can see we're going to have to stretch this chassis as well because the wheels don't line up, but I knew that already. In future videos, we'll finish the body work and do some painting. We'll do some metal work and electronics, get the drivetrain all in. There's a lot left to do on this build, but it's going to be really fun. So make sure you watch for it and stay tuned. And once again, thanks to all my subscribers and my viewers. I couldn't do this without you. Well, until next time, thanks for watching. Take one. Before we get started with the take two. As of this recording, I've got 5. Take 3. That first week, oh man, that is sucky. Who supported my channel over, okay. Take 4. Before I get started on today's video, I'd like to take a moment to give you some take 2. Before we get started on today's video, I'd like to give a take 3. Before we get started on today's video, I'd like to take a few moments. I can't even read. Take 4. Before we get started on today's take 5. Before we get started on today's video, I'd like to take a few minutes to express my sheer disappointment with my ability to read. I've since learned to pace myself. Today is me. I'd like to give a few words of appreciation. Take 15. Hi. Before we start today's video, why are you saying hi? Nobody cares. Okay, start over. This video is a huge milestone for me, the 40th for me, and my pencil's falling out. I had the idea to put tie pins, maybe, no! Okay. Why did I pause so much? Dramatic pause. No, not good. Okay, start over. It's also tomorrow. No. Okay. No. Okay. Start again. 1 year ago. Oh no.